Okay, I'll call to order the June 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, and I will note that we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda, disposition of minutes.
Madam Chair, member of the committee, I apologize. I have not had a chance to review those minutes. I move this be changed to the next meeting.
We have not been completed. Okay, good. Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item, prosecutor's recommendations.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, the prosecutor has given us a report indicating there were 53 alcohol and tobacco fines collected for a total of $32,850. There are 3 of note. All 3 are tobacco. The first is Crown Tobacco in DeMott, Jasper County. Officers received a complaint that they were selling to minors and potentially selling illegal hemp. On the investigation, they found smokable hemp products. Parties agreed to a $1,000 civil penalty and a 7-day suspension of the certificate. The second comes from Bloomington, Monroe County, Oberon Enterprises. Officer conducted an inspection. While there, they found numerous Zyn products suspected to be counterfeit. After consulting with representatives of the company, 26 cans were verified as counterfeit. Again, a $1,000 civil penalty and 7-day suspension. And finally, the third tobacco is tobacco canes in Merrillville, Lake County. In February of this year, officer conducted a compliance check. And so at that time, an on-duty clerk sold a vape product to an underage male without asking for identification. This was the third such violation, and the parties have agreed to a $1,000 civil penalty and 3-day suspension. I move acceptance of the prosecutor's report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item, consideration of applications. There are 393 renewal applications.
Madam Chair, I incorporate by reference this list of 393 applications for renewal, which have been recommended by local boards and reviewed by our staff with authority of the commission. And I hereby move approval of same pending in and needed escrow hearings and included in this list, the inclusion of this list in the meetings of June 2nd, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 23 new and transfer applications.
Madam Chair, I incorporate by reference this list of 23 permit applications for a new permit or applications for changes in ownership or location or both of existing permits, which have been recommended by local boards and reviewed by the commissioner. And I hereby move approval of the same pending the floor plan approval by the Indiana State Excise Police and an escrow hearing if needed, and inclusion of this list as part of the minutes of the meeting of June 2nd, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 49 catering applications.
Madam Chair, I incorporate by reference this list of 49 permit applications for catering, and I hereby move approval of the same in inclusion of this list as part of the minutes of this meeting of June 2nd, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 40 direct wine shipper applications.
Madam Chair, I incorporate by reference this list of 40 new and renewal direct wine shippers permits, and I hereby move approval of the same and inclusion of this list as part of the minutes of this meeting of June 2nd, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item, waivers of fees for letters of extension.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, we received several applications for letter of extension and waivers of the fees. I move approval of that list.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Items for discussion, RC 8400191, Wayne Newton Post number 346 of the American Legion Incorporated. This comes on for a renewal with local board voting 2-2 after a few continuances. I'll open that for discussion.
Yes, this is from Vigo County. It was continued from our May 19th meeting. We did receive, previous to that meeting, a corrective action plan. We ask that our council get back in touch with this permittee and ask them to update their corrective action plan. Our council did call them, did walk them through what we needed. We did receive a letter back. It addressed some of the needs. I would have liked to seen the cap a little stronger, but we've had several conversations with them. We do have a cap, gonna go with what we have. And I am going to recommend that we do renew this permit. And I'm gonna ask for strict compliance of the permit. If there are any further violations, I think the commission may look at withdrawing that permit from them. So I'm just trying to put them on notice. They need to comply with the laws and regs of Indiana. There's also a question about their floor plan and if they're updating it or not, if they've changed it. If they have made any changes to the floor plan from the one we have on file, they do need to get those changes to us and file a new floor plan. So I move for renewal of the permit, strict compliance, and that is for RC 8400191 Wade Newton Post number 346 of the American Legion, Inc.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Just one comment on this one, the issue of the floor plan, again, and I've said this several times over the last few months, that thousands of permittees are able to follow these rules and regulations. And I recognize this is a volunteer organization, it's a veterans organization, but they still have the same rules and regulations to follow. As to the floor plan, I want to note that they should understand the floor plan includes the outside area, what they call the grass prep or whatever. It includes the whole place. It doesn't include just indoors. Is that correct?
It depends what they have filed with us.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, whatever they have on file is
Right.
their corrected floor plan. If they've changed, they need to have a new floor plan. It may have to have excise inspected and
Right. Okay, and just comment. I like the strict compliance too. Thank you.
So I can't remember, I know the local board vote was 2-2, so it was a split and there was some discussion. I can't remember if it was 1 year, but would you consider making your motion for 1 year?
yes, amend my motion for a 1-year renewal of the permit with strict compliance.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item for discussion is RR 4904646 Buckeye Beverage Corp. This is an extension request continued from the May 6th meeting.
Yes, this comes to us from here in Marion County. It was on our agenda for May the 6th. We did ask for a new corrective action plan, which we have gotten for their council. I will note that they have had 6 violations in the past 10 years, and 2 of the violations are still active. At the last meeting, we did ask that they settle or set for hearing those 2 violations. I know that their council did touch base with our prosecutor at the end of last week. But there has not been a request for a pre-hearing, a final pre-hearing date. So what I would like to do is make a motion that we, the Alcohol Tobacco Commission, set this for a final pre-hearing and a hearing, and for those to take place in either July or August. And that is my motion for RR 4904646 Buckeye Beverage Corp.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Did your motion include granting or denying the
Oh, sorry.
extension?
Yes, and an extension for 90 days for the Buckeye Beverage Corp.
Second that.
Right, it's been moved and seconded. Well, are you sitting as hearing judge? I think this is us basically assigning it to you. Then I will second. All right. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Abstain.
Opposed, say no. I will show that the motion passed 3-0 with one abstention. Next item for discussion is RR 48-32291, Terry Burton and Deborah Bear. This matter comes on for an extension request.
Yes, this was continued from May the 27th. They have had a couple violations in the past for drugs. We had asked for a corrective action plan on that, and also their last extension request just had one word on it for the reason for the need for the extension, and that was the word health. We have received further information from this permittee. It sounds like one of the owners has had some significant health issues. And the reason for the permit not being renewed. They have had an extension. They did expire March the 7th. They have had an extension from March 24th to June the 5th. I will move that we grant a 90-day extension for RR 48-32291, Terry Burton and Deborah Bear.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item for discussion is RR 2942596. Caliente Caramel Incorporated. This matter comes on for an extension request.
Yes, this is up in Carmel. They were missing some forms. They have gotten those to us. They are now scheduled for the local board on July the 21st. They have had one previous extension from, they expired February 27th. The extension was from February 28th to May the 28th. And they had a letter of authority from May the 29th through today, June 2nd. They do not have any violations, and I move that we grant a 90-day extension for RR 2942596 Caliente Caramel Inc.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item for discussion is RC 1709049, BPO Elks Lodge number 1978. This matter comes on for an extension request.
Yes, this is from Auburn, Indiana. They did expire March the 7th. They had an extension from March the 8th through June the 5th. They didn't have all their paperwork to us. They have now gotten that to us. They're scheduled for a local board on June the 16th. They haven't had any violations in the past 10 years. I move that we grant a 90-day extension for RC 1709049, BPO Elks Lodge number 1978.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. There are two extensions to add to the agenda today. Those are for RR 4520125, Munster Food and Beverage LLC, and RR 2030343, Desi Corporation. Can we take it by consent to add both of those?
Consent.
Consent.
All right, I will show those added by consent, and I will call RR 4520125, Munster Food and Beverage LLC.
Yes, this comes to us from Lake County. They did expire February the 19th of 26. They did have an extension from February 24th to May the 25th. They were scheduled for the local board on May the 13th. They did not appear. They had a violation, so they were supposed to appear at the local board and they did not appear. The violation had to do with, no employee permits and exam. They are now scheduled for the local board for tomorrow, June the 3rd, and hopefully they're gonna make that. They do know that, they have a local board meeting tomorrow. I'm gonna move that we grant a 90-day extension for RR 4520125 Munster Food and Beverage LLC.
Sure. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I would just say that I'm glad they're back on track. If there are further failures to appear, I may not grant another extension beyond this 90 days. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item is RR 2030343 Desi Corporation. This permit was denied by the local board. That denial was upheld by the commission on March 3rd. And a timely appeal was filed. We granted one prior extension. It is now scheduled for a pre-hearing conference on June 11th of 2026. We do have a cap, which we reviewed prior to granting the last extension. I would move to grant an additional 90-day extension and ask that the final hearing be at least scheduled during that 90-day extension.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Not seeing any. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no.
I abstain on the hearing for you.
All right, I will show that the motion passes 3-0 with one abstention. Next item for discussion, inactive files, RH 4930161 was continued from the 4/21/26 meeting because renewals were filed, but it had a tax protest, and it appears that it still has a tax protest today. I will open that for discussion.
Yes, I move, this permit was on our list to be made inactive. They asked us to pull it out. They wanted to, correct problems and get it back in an active state. They have not addressed the issues to put it back into an active state. So I move that we inactivate RH 4930161. I don't have the name of it, but, that permit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item, permits to be made inactive that were announced at the 5/19/2026 meeting. I will note that prior to the agenda being completed, RR 3238975 was removed from that list. We've received 2 additional renewals. Those are for RR 06388899 and RR 063. I'm sorry, I have the same permit number written there. There were
998. 9899.
98 and 99. Got it. Thank you. Can we take it by consent to remove those from the list for today?
Consent.
Consent.
All right, I'm gonna show those removed by consent, and that brings the total number to 12 permits to be made inactive from the 5/19/26 meeting.
Madam Chair, I incorporate by reference this list of 12 permit applications to be made dead and hereby move for approval of same and inclusion of this list as part of the minutes of the June 2nd meeting. And to me, they were made part of the minutes of May 15th, and they're to be made dead now, according to the minutes of 6/2/26.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Just announcing there are 27 permits listed to be made inactive on 6/16/26 if we don't receive those renewals. We are working through a backlog of expired permits where we've sent notices, usually multiple notices, that applications are incomplete. There are holes that need to be addressed, and those haven't been addressed. So we'll be sending more notices. We'll probably start seeing more inactive files announced on the agendas. So just as an announcement, those are coming, and there are a few that were conditionally approved that the conditions haven't been met, some for a year or more. So the first meeting in August, we are setting some of those for reconsideration and sending notice that if the item isn't addressed, the commission may reverse the grant of the permit. With that, I don't see any other items on the agenda and would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn. Oh, please do.
I move to adjourn.
And I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Quick one today.